Alrighty, we are back here, you guys, at the Kansas City Open presented by Selkirk. We are going to have a great matchup here between Donald Young and Rafa Hewett. We've got some lefty on lefty fire going on over here. Rafa out to a 2-0 lead. Donald with a little bit of a mishit dropper there. Rafa's laughing as he walks back. Ooh, smart. Rafa is dancing his way back to the baseline. You can hear the music going from center court. It is a vibe here. Rafa's just dancing away. Oof, misreturn by Donald. Both these players are going to have really strong ground strokes. Donald Young, a former professional tennis player, really high level. Really great serve by Donald Young there, so deep. Kept Rafa's return short, which against Donald, who has amazing ground strokes, just not gonna work, folks. And a missed volley a little bit long there from Rafa. And I've got Dave Weinbach here joining me in the booth.
I was excited to see this one, Rachel. You got two sweet swinging lefties here. Of course, Donald Young, ex-professional tennis player. Trying to remember how high he got in the world, Rachel. I used to love watching him. His favorite event always seemed to be the U.S. Open in New York City at Flushing Meadow. He always turned his game up there. Just a superior athlete and loves pickleball. Had a chance to talk to him in Palm Springs last year at the tournament, and he has just fallen in love with this game. And he said he needed something to take his competitive juices away. You know, he was done with tennis, he was ready to move on, and pickleball found him at the perfect opportunity.
Yeah, I think pickleball does that for a lot of players, Dave. I think a lot of people have come from other sports and they're looking for that competitive fire again, and then they find pickleball and fall in love. So, wow, Donald's stringing quite a few points here together.
Yeah, we saw Rafa earlier on this court and played one of the cleanest matches I've ever seen him play. So he's going to be really tough to beat in this. These two players actually have very similar styles.
Yeah.
Their two-handed backhands, I actually think both guys prefer to pass off their two-handed backhand. They both serve with a heavy topspin bounce. They both cover the kitchen line really well. I would probably give Young a slight edge in mobility, and that's no slight to Rafa. Rafa moves very well, but Donald has excellent footwork, and he's difficult to pass. I've gotten a chance to commentate 3 or 4 of his matches in the last year, and he's really tough to pass. He makes you beat him 3 or 4 times to win a point.
Yeah, I was going to agree with you, Dave. I think going the way the points are going currently, I do give a slight edge to Donald because he has those super impressive ground strokes. Rafa does as well, but I think just going ex-tennis player, professional tennis player, you're just not going to win those ground stroke rallies. So I would love to see Rafa coming in. Like you said, he's hard to pass, so...
6-5 here, early stages of game 1. And yeah, Rafa wasn't sure about that serve, but I did think it caught the line and skidded off the line. 7-5 here in game one, and another serve that clips the line. And that puts Hewett in such a tough spot, Rachel, when Young can get that serve so deep with so much topspin. It just puts Rafa at a disadvantage from the opening start.
Yeah, and maybe that's why Rafa's having a tough time getting in, because he just can't generate an aggressive return. But love that point from Rafa, really keeping Donald Young pinned back on that baseline there, giving him no chance to get in.
And there's that two-handed backhand that Rafa loves. So does Donald. And I think that you're going to see Donald Young actually hit more returns middle or to the Hewett forehand. Right on cue.
Right on cue.
And Donald's got to recognize this better, that Rafa loves his two-handed backhand down the line. He'll hit more passing shots down the line, even though it's over a higher part of the net than he does cross-court. But he certainly can wrap it around his body and go cross-court as well. So he's just so dangerous off that side. He actually makes more errors on his forehand side.
Yeah, agreed. And I think Donald is figuring that out as he's gone to the forehand the past couple of points here. Close match here. Oh, a little bit too much there.
Fully expected that, Rachel. Dave Weinbach, Rachel Recker, proud to bring you this live action here on this grandstand court all day. And Rafa Hewett continuing his extraordinary play today, Rachel, here on the grandstand court.
Yeah, that was an amazing forehand. And, you know, Rafa kind of threw that one in our face, Dave, because we just said that was his weaker shot, and he's showing us. Oh, and he had that.
Young so there, anticipating that very well, and missed a very easy volley, one that he's going to execute 98 out of 100 times. Yeah, that's going to sail long.
And we're going to see a timeout here. I wouldn't be surprised if Rafa loses a couple points if he gets a little upset about that net there.
Well, that's a really good return there by Young. And I like how he closes to the net quickly. I see too much, Rachel, where people hit a good return of serve and then they mosey on up to the net too slowly. You got to get there. The quicker you get there, the more pressure it puts on your opponent.
We'll see if Rafa can get on the board here first in the second game. Wow, just too good from Donald. Really got around the edge of that ball to hit that cross-court backhand.
Young has really kept himself in great shape, Rachel, since he retired from his tennis days, and he attributes that to pickleball exclusively. I mean, he said he still works out a lot and just loves to compete. So I think he has a very high ceiling. We haven't seen anywhere near the level that Donald Young is going to get to in this game, and I mean both singles and doubles. Double, he hasn't fared very well yet. He doesn't quite get what I call the top-tier partners yet, but I think he will.
Yeah. Yeah, he's definitely putting the work in, and you can see it.
Yep.
And you know what, Dave? I'm pretty sure that Donald Young is a single man. So he's keeping himself looking good for a reason. So, ladies, if you're watching, hopefully he's single. If not, never mind. Do your research first, ladies.
That's a really good shot by Rafa. That ball really stayed down and made Young's pass so much more difficult.
Yeah, and you know what, Dave? In the first game, Donald Young was going into the net a lot more often. This game, he stayed back and right on cue. I think he does a lot better when he's being aggressive and moving into the net. I think Rafa Hewett questioning that call. He's going to give it to Donald, even though I think he's sure that he was out.
Well, that's way out. I mean, that's 2 feet out. So he has to realize that he's downwind here, and the wind has picked up since they even started this match, Rachel. And Hewitt staying back. What?
Wow.
That's way out.
That was a really good point by Rafa because Donald was hitting really low penetrating volleys, and Rafa was still able to keep those balls low as he was hitting up on them. Oh, and a net clipper. Rafa's saying sorry, but I'm getting the feeling that he's not.
And he kisses the net. Oh, Rafa. You never know what's going to happen with Rafa.
Donald smiling. It's 2-2. Oh, but not that time.
Correctly called wide.
Yeah, great leave by Donald there.
I thought a really smart play by Donald. I thought he made 3 really good decisions in that point where he could have gone in any direction. And I like that he's going out wide and using that angle.
Oh, great serve and a great return. Kind of lucky by Rafa Hewett there.
Rafa having a grand old time out here. That's what I like about him. He's a happy-go-lucky guy, one of the funniest guys we have on the whole tour.
Yeah, he's a character.
He really is, and he's got a really interesting breadth of knowledge. I mean, I've had interesting conversations about everything from business to politics to tennis to pickleball to the best lefties in the history of the sport. I mean, you name it. The guy loves to converse, and he's got such good people skills. People flock to him because of his personality. He's just a happy-go-lucky guy. He can get a little excited at times and a little, I'm not going to say irate, but
Woohoo!
right on cue, Rafa.
Rafa ties it up at 3-3.
And Donald looking over to his box over here, wondering what else can I do with this guy? Oh, what a get.
Oh. Really smart by Donald to not do too much with that ball. He just put it back over the net, didn't give Rafa many choices. Worked out for him.
And that's going to sail way wide. So after Rafa takes game 1, 11-8, a highly competitive game 2 here.
Really good placement by Rafa there.
Oh, and Young second guessing himself on even if he should have hit that ball, Rachel.
Yeah.
It looked to me like it was going to be wide.
Oh, no
another
way.
net court.
Donald, clearly frustrating.
Rafa saying I had a shitty year. Oh, there's no filter with Rafa Hewett.
No. That is hilarious.
He's so
oh my
funny.
gosh.
Oh, and Young very, very upset. Number 1 by the way he's playing. Number 2 by the 5 or 6 net chords that Hewitt's had. And I think some of these antics that Hewett has displaying is getting to Young. So, you know, if you're Donald Young, Rachel, you need to refocus here and bring everything back internal and focus on what you can control.
Yeah, I think Donald is having most of his success when he's approaching to Rafa's forehand. He's really been picking on that shot, but he's gotten burned a couple times by opening to the forehand and then trying to close to the backhand. And Rafa's just too good on that backhand side, so I would like to see Donald just keep going to that forehand until he has a really good angle on that backhand that opens up the court a little bit more. But if I'm Donald, I'm just telling myself hopefully those net cords can stop. He's got to get himself back in here, down 4-5 in the second. Oof, and that's not the start that you want to see, a missed return halfway up the net. we'll see if Rafa can take advantage of his 6-4 lead here.
We are live in Overland Park, Kansas, at the Selkirk Kansas City Open, right here on the grandstand court. And good call, Rachel. You told Donald and coached him to hit more returns and more balls to the Hewett forehand, and now Donald relaxing and showing some smiles. And
oh, too relaxed, Dave.
I think you were still laughing and smiling when he was in the process of serving.
Yeah. You got to be careful. Sometimes I almost think it's a strategy for players like Rafa or players like Jaume who are so personable that they kind of get you to relax and get out of that like locked in mode. And it can really mess with you. So when I'm playing someone like Rafa, I just try to keep to myself, not get involved in the hee hee ha ha moments.
All right, 4-6. He's going to get this. Oh, he didn't do anything with it.
A big eye roll from Donald.
He was there in plenty of time, Rach, and he just fluffed it up really high, and he knew as soon as he hit it.
Yeah, still got to be pretty frustrating.
6-4.
Just missed by Rafa. Really good shot by Donald, right on the back of the line there. I feel like Donald really's got to get off 4 right here.
And that's going to sail long, correctly called long. Rafa's challenging it, but it was easily long by 2-3 balls.
Yeah, he just asked the ref, but not going to go to an official video challenge here. Wow. I'm surprised that Rafa missed that. That backhand is usually so steady, but Donald hit a really penetrating drive.
Yeah, and it looked like Rafa tried to do a little too much with it. Oh. Donald Young with one of the best overheads in all of pickleball. Surprisingly shanks that off the top of the paddle.
Yeah, that one hurt. That even hurt me, Dave.
Yeah, so now we're at 6-6 here, Rachel, in a highly contested second game. And I must add, highly entertaining as well, and a great depth on that volley by Hewett.
Yeah, too short of a return from Donald Young there. He's really got to get that deeper. Yeah.
And it sure kept the pressure on. Rafa made him hit 2 extra balls, though.
Let's see if Donald can string together a couple points here.
All right, he's at 6-10, Rachel, after losing game 1. So this is the time for him. I think he has to get at least 2 points here on this service to mentally stay in this game.
Yeah, agreed. Oh.
And that's not going to do it.
So it is hot and humid and sweaty out here, folks, and even the ball is getting a little bit wet, which is causing problems for players as they make contact.
Surprised Young didn't get a verbal warning there from the ref with some of those words. Maybe she didn't hear him.
Yeah, maybe she didn't hear. All right, and it's out. He's got another shot here to string together some points, get back in the second game.
.610 here, game 2.
Yeah, just out there for Donald Young.
Yeah, correctly called, I thought.
Yeah, it did look definitely a little bit long. Rafa Hewett, I think, is going to have his 3rd chance at a match point here. And just another missed return to close out the match there.
Yeah, that's one of the